This video is based on a paper I gave at the 2012 Kappa conference and then rewrote and gave again at the 2013 Microwave conference at UTS. It proposes an approach to script development that I call on-screen drafting. I'm taking the notion of camera stylo, or camera as pen, literally, and asking, can cheap digital technology, the camera and editing program on your iPhone, for example, be a script development tool? Can we add a physical, embodied, rapid prototyping phase to script writing with these digital tools? In short, can we use digital cameras and laptops as sketchpads? An on-screen draft, or sketch, as I will also call it, is a no-budget digital rendering of a whole story or screenplay. It does not replace a script draft. It is part of the script development process. It includes digital shooting and cutting. An on-screen draft should be really ugly. It has to be rough enough that no one cares if you just throw it away, so that you can try anything. The main purpose, I think, of an on-screen draft is to reveal how the script is going to work when it's on the screen. It reveals the script in time and in movement as it is experienced by an audience when it is cinema. My interest in on-screen drafting at the moment is bringing an editor's thinking into the process from early on. Editors often say that the cut is the last draft of the script. So my question is, why not bring an editor's thinking in earlier, before you've spent all the money and it's too late? The reason I call on-screen drafting sketching sometimes is that I'm proposing that you use the camera and digital editing technology as a sketchpad. Cinema is an art, but it was defined as an art before digital tools became available. Now that we have these digital tools, we can redefine the cinema making processes. We can say that, like other art forms, cinema should be sketched. When I talked to the visual artist Michelle Hiscock, who made this painting, about sketching, she said two really interesting things. The first one is, you sketch to see. In other words, sketching is an aid to envisioning. It helps you to really accurately see what is in front of you, rather than blurring that image with your hopeful or optimistic imaginings. The other thing, she said, is you sketch to know what it is you are thinking, what it is you are composing, how that composition realizes itself in material form. So why do we need to write a draft with a camera? Don't screenplays go through multiple drafts, starting with scribblings on the back of napkins and reaching their culmination as not as finished products but as final drafts? I would argue a screenplay is more like a plan than a sketch, or as Stephen Morris describes it in his influential book Screenwriting History, Theory, and Practice, it is understood as a blueprint. But a blueprint is not a film. Cinema is an art of performance, dynamics, images, and sounds, not of words on paper. If a screenplay is a blueprint, using the architectural model, an on-screen draft would be analogous to the computer simulations that can now be made and printed in 3D. Digitally generated 3D prints are roughly the same relationship to buildings as on-screen drafts are to films. They're relatively cheap. They test the theory that is the blueprint or script. They come at a stage in the process where there's still time to change and refine ideas and their expression, and yet they would never be mistaken for buildings themselves. They are mediated drafts, a step closer to the real thing, but still revisable. With this 3D model, or rapid prototype as it is known, in mind, I turn now to look at some variations on on-screen drafting that are in common practice in some parts of screen industries. The games industry uses drafting. They call it rapid prototyping, and they use it in order to test the mechanics and the perspective of the intended game to see if they provide engaging gameplay. In other words, to see the work before going on to refine it in very much more expensive forms in the next draft or iteration. Animation films have been using on-screen drafting processes for a long time. They make very rough drawings and sound, and these are gradually replaced with more and more refined version. So they sketch and script until the flow of story and emotional dynamics over time makes sense and feels right. The main thing is you don't need to worry if your on screen draft is a fail. It will be a fail, and that is what you will learn from. And the point is to learn from it now before you go into the final production, and then redraft the script so that it works better when you do make the final production. In the case of a screen production course, you're also using the on screen draft to think about the decisions that you're going to have to make when you go into production. So, where are you going to put the camera? Is the performance going to have a certain pace to it or a quality? How will you solve various problems like point of view or understanding where we are in time and space? Sketching or drafting is a great way to confront these decisions before you're under pressure on set. So, I offer you the opportunity to have a lot of fun with this sketching process. Sketching, of course, is a skill, and you will get better and better at it the more you do it. But this will mostly be your first time, so have fun with it and don't make too big a deal of it. Just see if you can get a version of the whole script onto the screen and see what you can learn from it.